Hello, and thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Dentistry Talks. I am very excited to welcome award-winning TV and radio presenter Nadia Ali, a passionate advocate for mentoring and personal growth. Nadia believes that mentoring is a crucial element in professional success, and she's here today to share her experiences and insights, from her early career mentors to her recent decision to wear a hijab in 2024. In this episode, we'll explore the importance of mentoring in dentistry, the impact of balancing personal identity within a professional setting, and how motherhood has influenced Nadia's career. We'll also discuss her advice for women navigating discrimination in the field and the lessons she's learned along the way. Stay tuned for a unique and necessary conversation. Hello.
Hi.
Thank you so much for coming.
Well, thank you for having me, Abby. Now, before we begin, the million-dollar question.
Hit me.
Do I have good teeth?
Gorgeous teeth.
Do I
Gorgeous
really?
teeth. Why? Have you had braces?
No. So let's talk about this. I think this is really before we even begin. Okay. Right. This is to all the dentists out there that are listening right now. Please do not be like my dentist growing up.
Oh no.
So when I was young, I'd always pretend. I don't know if you ever did this, but you know, you've got paper clips.
Yeah.
Right. I was obsessed with braces, and I don't know why, but I've always wanted braces.
That's quite common. It's like when people want to break their arm.
Yeah,
It's-
right?
Yeah, it's like I don't know what it is.
I don't know what it was. So what I'd do is during lunch breaks, I'd get the paperclip in my pocket and I'd go, like, this is primary school, and I'd stand in the queue and then I'd open it up. Let's not tell anyone this. And then I'd literally just make it into like a brace and put it in.
No way.
Yeah, that's how sad I was.
Wow,
I know,
you're
I really
serious
wanted
about
braces.
it.
But actually, I do think I'm a little bit goofy, and it's fine because I think goofy is in now. But growing up, it wasn't. And I felt like, okay, they're a bit crooked, they're a bit goofy. But my dentist swore by the fact that, no, you've got lovely teeth, you're absolutely fine. But the minute I hit 19, I've got to pay for my braces now.
Oh, I know.
And guess what?
I know.
He said I needed braces.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, same.
Oh, did he?
Same guy that was my dentist for like God knows how many years, since I was 5. So work it out.
So we've started with a bit of beef for the dentist there, you know.
Yeah. So please don't do that. Don't ever do that. That's all I can say.
Any positive dental stories?
Well, I have a really good dentist now.
Good.
And I'm not scared of dentists.
That's good. And also I think more people are scared of the dentist than not. I
Yeah.
can't tell you the amount of people who've come on here and said, I have a phobia of the dentist.
My dad does. He's got awful teeth.
It's quite an intimate thing, isn't it? You know, you're
Yeah.
opening up your mouth and letting people kind of, you know, the mouth kind of, it's a lot going on in there. It's full of bacteria. So it is quite, and you're very, I think it's quite claustrophobic for lots of people.
Definitely.
You're very vulnerable in that.
And you're
in that
conscious
position.
about your breath, right?
Well, and that, yeah. Although they are wearing masks, so, you know, you can kind of breathe.
Are you sure? I'll remember that next time.
So. They should be.
Try not to
as
have.
far as I'm aware, anyway.
I try not to have any garlic the night before.
It's
I see
good.
a
It's a good
dentist.
tactic, just for your own kind of self-confidence.
Yeah.
You know, you need to impress your dentist. That's why we all go.
Yeah, that's it, right?
Well, thank you. I really appreciate you being here. I'm actually really excited for this because we're gonna start off talking about mentoring, which is something that you said is really important to you, and it's super crucial in many industries, particularly in dentistry. So before we learn a bit about who you are and what you do and your journey, I'd like to kick off with why you think mentoring is so important.
You know, I really wish, Gabby, that I had a mentor growing up. Or actually, I have had unofficial mentors, as you would say. But I really wish growing up we had this whole understanding or education around mentorship and just how important it is. Because I do feel if I did have that, I'd do a lot better, and I'd be in places where I'd like to see myself now.
Okay.
And you know, and I'm still working towards that.
Absolutely.
But I feel like I could have got there a little bit faster if I had the guidance from those professional mentors. And, you know, I wish that schools had known about it when I was growing up. So currently, I'm working on this mentoring project with a charity organisation called Streets of Growth. And I work as their mental coordinator, where I help them, and they're actually funded by the Mayor of London.
Okay.
So it's funded by the Mayor of London.
Incredible.
And it's amazing, this mentorship program. And Streets of Growth is an amazing charity organisation. They work with 99% of the young kids that they work with they do come from vulnerable backgrounds, and they're from ethnic minority backgrounds. And when I say vulnerable, it's from like gang exploitation to abuse to TV to so many different, you know, you can imagine. And what I'm doing is these young people that have been on a journey with Streets of Growth, so they've got their intervention coaches, they've come out of the hardship, and they're focusing on themselves, and they're trying to find themselves again. And when they're ready to take that step into the real world again, where, okay, I want to be a doctor, forget what's happened in my life, but I want to be a doctor. How can I do this, Nadia? And this is where I step in. And I love working on this because I find them doctors that are actually from the ethnic minority background as well. I try. And sit them together and say, here's a mentor that's going to guide you and tell you how he got to where he is or how she got to where she is. And you're going to get this guidance for the next year.
It's a lot more intentional than
100%.
Than perhaps what you've described. You said it's something you were lacking early on in your career and your life, and this is something that's, I guess, pushed you to sort of enter this sphere and kind
absolutely. It's that inspiration, I think, isn't it? It's that inspiration, that guidance, that comfort. I don't know if that's the right word, but that comfort that you need, just knowing, oh, actually, they've done it, so can I.
I think it's quite hard to trust yourself sometimes as well. So to have that reinforced or reminded, I don't know about you, but I sometimes have a voice in my head and I'm like, I don't believe what you're telling me, which is probably a problem in itself, but it's very common. And I think it's nice to have that reinforced by somebody else and somebody who doesn't know you also, at least from the get-go. I think I sometimes find it easier to be sort of vulnerable and open to people who actually don't know anything about me, because I'm like, you have no preconceived, as far as, I mean, obviously we all are making judgments and having things when we see people, but in terms of actually who I am, hopefully you don't know who I am, and therefore this conversation is going to be a lot more honest, and that's really helpful, I think, in these environments to be able to feel like you can talk to people. So that's incredible. You're enjoying it?
I love it. I absolutely love it. And we've seen, and Streets of Growth, the charity organisation, they're amazing. They do some great work. And actually, just being on this project for the last 2 years, I've seen these young people turn their lives around. There's one young girl that wasn't sure if she wanted to go to uni, wasn't sure what she wanted to do. She knew she wanted to be a lawyer.
Okay.
So she had this amazing mentor for like 12 months while she was doing her A-levels. And now she's going to one of the top universities.
That's amazing.
And she's the first in her family to go to university.
Even more impressive. Yeah.
And and it's just that, like you said, that reinforcement, like, she knows that she can do it. Yeah, it's possible because, she had this amazing mentor that talked her through it, talked her through, how to do the application, talked her through, it's okay to fail. Okay, you didn't get this interview, but it's fine. Let's move on. And it's just having that guidance was really nice. And like you said, it's nicer, I think, because it's from a stranger, not your family.
Who love you, right? So it's to come from somebody who doesn't owe you anything, essentially, whilst you hope people have compassion and they have your best interests at heart, reality is they don't always. So to have somebody say that to you or be there for you and help you through these times to get somewhere is incredibly important. And I ask because, as I mentioned, mentoring is incredibly important in dentistry, and accessing the first step is obviously to actually qualify as a dentist or a dental hygienist or get your dental nursing qualification. And for a lot of people who don't come from families with a background in dentistry or healthcare, it can be really daunting. Yeah. So very similarly, I think from dental students all the way up throughout your career, we all need mentors at whatever point we're at.
I think I've just found myself the next mentor for a young person that wants to go into dentistry. Thanks, Gabby.
There we go. It's so important. It's so tricky. There's so much to do. All these exams you've got to pass. And then you get chucked out of dental school and you're like, go and do your dentistry then. And it's scary. Like we already said, you've got to go into people's mouths. People are terrified. Some people are incredibly anxious. You've got people from all walks of life coming and basically trusting you to do a good job. And I'm not to freak people out, but it is I guess, a lot of pressure. Yeah. And you become... naturally, like anything we do, you become accustomed to it, but I think having people that you can lean on is crucial, both at work but then also in your personal life as well. I mean, I'd love for you to tell us a little bit about what you do.
possible.
If possible. Where you got to, where did your story start?
Oh gosh, we'll be here forever. How long do we have again?
Yeah, true.
In a nutshell, I grew up in East London, come from a really close-knit family, a Muslim background, and my grandparents were probably one of the first Bangladeshis to really make movement here in the UK, especially in Tower Hamlets.
Incredible.
Yeah, in Tower Hamlets. So I've always been really close to the community because of the work that my grandparents have always done. So my grandfather was a barrister. He came here in the 60s. My grandma came here in the 70s. And my grandma was also a qualified school teacher here. And it was beautiful because, I mean, I don't know if beautiful is the correct word, but during that time when they were here, there was a lot of racism. But what was beautiful was the fact that my grandmother and my grandfather were able to really keep that flag going. Like, no, where, we are Bangladeshi.
At a time when it was a lot harder to do that.
So much. I hear stories from my dad and it breaks my heart, coming home drenched in blood because he'd get beaten up and, all these horrible stories. Whereas my grandparents were like, okay, that's going on, but we're still going to start a community where, British Bangladeshis can get together. They can learn Bangla. They can learn Arabic. They can, celebrate Eid. They can celebrate Diwali. They can celebrate safely in a community. So they actually together built quite a few community centres in Tower Hamlets. So I've always been really close to the community, and especially with work like that for our British Bangladeshis, which is why actually the mentoring side kicked in recently.
I can see the connection
there, which is why I wanted to give back, and I started my own enterprise where I can work with ethnic minority women, I can work with the community and, give back basically, essentially. That's what I wanted to do. That's what I've always wanted to do. But prior to that, I qualified as a barrister as well.
Okay.
Thank you.
Qualified. How was that?
It was amazing. Yeah. I absolutely loved it.
Okay.
Gosh, was that so funny.
From inspiration from your grandfather?
Do you know what? Yeah, my grandfather. But do you want to hear a funny story, Gabby?
Go on, always.
Oh, gosh. I've got so many stories to tell you. And we don't have enough time for these. But my granddad, growing up, I was the first grandchild. I was spoiled rotten. Listen,
rightly so.
I was everyone's favourite. I still am, if my cousins are watching this.
Oh, I hope they are.
I know they're going to kill me for that. But no, I mean, I grew, my granddad spoiled me, absolutely loved me. But when it came to choosing what to study, I was really lucky with my family because they've always given me the option to choose what you want to study what you want to do.
Yes, that's great.
And my mum's family mostly have medical background, so they're all doctors. My mum's father was a doctor in Bangladesh.
Any dentistry in there?
There isn't, no.
Heartbreaking.
No,
maybe one day.
Yeah, maybe one day.
Sorry, carry on.
Maybe Hannah, my daughter. She likes dentists, so yeah, never know. So anyway, so my granddad was like, I don't think you should do law. I think you should do medicine, and I think your brother should do law. It's like, why? Why did you say my brother has to do law? And straight away I just thought, is it because he's the son? And you know how Asian people are, that whole I don't think it's as relevant now, but there was this big thing about, Asians absolutely wanting a son in their life because he's got to carry on with the name, etc.
So you're like, hang on a
minute.
I was
like, no, mate, that ain't happening because I'm going to be a lawyer. I'm going to be a barrister. So anyway, again, coming back to the mentoring, I wish I had a mentor at that time because I didn't go to the best of universities at the time. At that time, I mean, it's a great university now, but for law, it wasn't. I did law and I found it very difficult to get into the bar because they were looking for Oxford University students. Yeah. But somehow I got in and I aced it. I was amazing.
Incredible.
I loved it.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I loved it. Yeah. And that's probably one of my biggest achievements to date.
Yeah, it would be mine too. I think it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
I can't get my head around the level of study that you have to do to get that. And then on top of that, a lot of it is, a lot of people, I know these people who can get you in, and to get in on merit is really tricky.
It's so difficult. And Gabby, I realised we're going from one thing to another, but when I started radio, so after I finished the bar, I got married, and then unfortunately got divorced. And during that time, BBC Asian Network, it was like a lifeline for me, because I was going through some severe depression, and obviously, as you can imagine, divorce is difficult. And and I just thought, there's no hope, I'm heartbroken, and it was really, really difficult time for me. But I felt like BBC Asian Network came at a time where it was just like another lifeline, and I was like, oh my God, this is what I needed, this is what I want. And and I went for it, and it came at the right time, just when I needed it. But when I joined the BBC in 2012, so all these years I've studied, I qualified in 2012 as well, actually, in summer. So anyway, when I started radio, and suddenly, I come from a TV background before radio. So I was used to, the lights, the cameras, and, it's 50% body language and 50% you talking. So I was used to all of that, right? The live, even though it was like live TV shows, I loved it. But radio was different, because it's so intimate. Like, how a podcast is. It's so intimate, isn't it? And suddenly I'm having to read scripts. And I self-diagnosed myself, and I think I was dyslexic all my life. And then when I think about, actually, because I've got to highlight everything, but I've never realised this until I started radio, because suddenly I'm talking and I'm having to read the script, and everything's just not right. It just doesn't. And then I was like, hold on. When I was studying everything, if you look at my books now, it's all highlighted in different colours and etc. But I think at the time when I was growing up, maybe my parents just weren't aware of the fact.
It's very underdiagnosed, and I can imagine as well. I don't quote me on this, but I imagine probably more so in women as well. Potentially. Definitely. I don't know. I'm probably actually, maybe I'm thinking more of sort of ADHD on that side of things. I think that manifests itself differently. So scrap what I just said. I'm putting out wrong medical advice, and I'm not qualified at all to say those things. But I think it's very it goes undetected, and people just think I can't. It looks different for a lot of people. They think I can't spell, or I can't read, or why do I keep confusing these letters together? And you just think, and I know a lot of my friends who also aren't. I don't know if you have got an official diagnosis now.
I haven't, but I think I want to now.
Yeah,
because I was thinking, because it's always been about highlighting everything, and it takes me a little bit longer to read something than maybe my friends. And actually, I think it comes back to the fact that my family, probably not my family, but my parents, at that time when I was growing up, it wasn't as popular or spoken about. Oh, is your child dyslexic, or are they having the diagnosis done? Like, even in school,
it's hard to ask that question too. I think we're a lot better at being open now. I think
100%.
And we've come a long way in very small amounts of time. But then it was like, oh, don't say that.
100%. So definitely, I agree with you. And I feel like now we're at a better space. But I do still feel sometimes, people don't really want to talk about it. So anyone that's listening to this, I qualified as a lawyer. I work at the BBC. I do my own radio show. I've done news pieces for BBC. And actually, I find it really difficult at times. But
you're doing it.
I'm doing it. Yeah. So, if you do need that help, please do go speak to someone.
Yeah, absolutely. And how, so sort of going back to your time starting at the BBC and the work you do, how has it been working in that space? How has that job been for you? What have you learned in that role?
For me, it's been amazing. Like I said, it was honestly a lifeline for me when I needed it the most. Working at the BBC has been brilliant. At that time, I was the first Bangladeshi to have my own, radio show on national radio, where I was playing out Bangladeshi music from around the world and really kind of giving a platform to Bangladeshis to play out their music, for artists, for anything, basically, the community. So I felt at that time when I started, I was like, okay, this is a really good space for me. I'm a female, I'm Bangladeshi, and I've got my own national radio show. I really need to now own this, and I need to help our community and the music scene for British Bangladeshis.
Absolutely,
And I did. And I think now Bangla music is at a space where, there's a lot more to do.
Progress, but it's way better than it was.
100%, 1,000% to when I started about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And recently I've taken on the hijab. So
I was going to ask about
I've
that.
just embraced the hijab.
Yeah, last year, am I right in saying that?
Yes, just after Ramadan.
Yeah, I actually watched your radio piece where you're kind of explaining your reasonings behind that, and you said you felt it was missing, and you didn't know what it was going to look like for you, and you didn't know if it would change you, but you felt it was something that was missing. And I'm really interested to fast forward. Obviously now you've been wearing it for a while. How has it been?
Honestly, we're being very honest, right?
I love honesty.
So I feel people do treat you differently.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Negative and positive.
Sadly, I want to say I'm surprised by that, but I'm not. I'm not surprised.
I think people do treat you differently. I love it because I feel like I've got an identity now. You know, and I feel like when I go out, people know I'm a Muslim. So it's just nice to have an identity where someone can say Assalamu alaikum in Arabic, like just greeting me, and it's because I wear the hijab. Before, I probably wouldn't have been greeted if I was on the street by another Muslim man or a Muslim woman. So little things like that. It's positive. It's great. And I feel very empowered, and I hope I empower others. Because I feel like I'm at a platform where I'm wearing hijab and I'm doing it, and I'm trying my best, and I want to grow. I want to do even more.
Public facing,
absolutely.
Figure, it's
and I want to do this with my hijab, and I absolutely love it. In some way, the hijab really makes me feel safe.
Okay,
makes me feel safe.
I like that,
and it's taken a while for me to say that, to feel it as well. So I am facing those little difficult situations.
Yeah,
but
I'm sorry to hear that.
No, it's okay.
Like I say, I'm not surprised. I am very happy to hear, however, that on a personal level, and you've mentioned that community is really important to you, and it feeds into that. It sounds like it's really facilitated communication with people who you share a common ground with, and I think that's really something to celebrate. So
yeah, absolutely. Thank you. And you were saying if there's anyone else that's on the same journey.
Yes, please.
The only thing I'd like to say to anyone that's listening and they're on the same journey, whether it's wearing a hijab or whether it's just looking into your own religion or just looking into something that you really want to do, whether it's personally or professionally, just go for it. And I know that sounds so cliche, but you just need to go for it. And that's literally what I did.
Yeah.
I had, there was lots of things going on at the time in my personal life. My mother wasn't very well. My auntie wasn't very well. And I was just praying that little bit harder. And then I just thought, actually, I feel like this is
the right time.
This is what's missing.
Yeah.
And I'd read up on it, and I realized the importance of wearing a hijab in Islam. And I just thought, no, I want to represent
something. I love that. I love that you went into it not quite knowing what it meant, but you thought, I'm not going to know unless I give this a go. And I think there's like a key lesson in that generally that people can take away from, you've got to sort of take that step. And because the other side, more often than not, is often quite wonderful and nice. So thank you for sharing that. I think there's real value in that conversation, and really appreciate you being so honest about it. I think it will benefit a lot of people who are listening, and also just people to understand, actually, people who aren't Muslim. Really, really important to understand its significance for people and why it's important. More of those conversations need to be had, I think. So
absolutely.
It kind of taps into, I guess, authenticity. I hate that word in the sense that I really struggle to say it. There's some words that just don't roll off the tongue. I'm quite impressed I said that first time, actually. I didn't even make a cut, just so everyone understands that wasn't cut. I did say that first time. There may be some people who struggle to sort of balance, or there's an overlap, right, in life of your work and your personal life. And it would be silly to say that doesn't happen. We know that they do. How do people maintain that authenticity in their professional life? So I guess kind of tapping into what we were just discussing, how have you kept that balance, and have there been any challenges with that?
So I think I've just always tried to be myself. And you've just got to believe in yourself. I think that's the key to everything, being a mother and working. And again, when I was a mother, faced a couple of challenges, being a working mum, and then obviously with the hijab, like we just spoke about. But the only thing that keeps me going, and I think the only thing that makes people maybe like me, hopefully, I hope, is the fact that you know, I haven't changed as a person.
No.
I'm still the same person. I'm
Yeah.
still goofy. I'm still crazy. I'm still Nadia. And, you know, I still love having a dance. And, you know, I love my hair out at home. And I still curl it. I do everything.
Yeah.
I do miss my hair. I'm not going to lie. I absolutely
miss it. I love that honesty about it.
I miss showing my hair because it really was my beauty.
It's a feature you're proud of.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I really do miss showing off my hair. But, you know, that's all a part of the challenge and that's all a part of the journey.
Yeah.
But for what were we talking about? I've totally forgotten. I've gone off track.
Authenticity.
No, that's okay. There we are.
You just wanted me to say that for a third time, didn't you?
Exactly. That's what it was. So, yeah, I mean, I think the main thing is to just kind of remember that who you are and just be that person, you know. It doesn't, just because you change things in life or things happen in your life and you have to take a different route or etc., it doesn't change you as a person, and you just need to remember that. And I think I've gone through those changes, Gabby. You know, when I went through my divorce, I was a total different person because, you know, I come from a family where I've been very loved and, you know, and I'm so privileged to have the family that I have. Like, I love my family to bits and they're amazing. My aunties, my mum, my dad, my grandparents, you know, amazing. And I'm so lucky to have them. And suddenly to hit rock bottom, I was a different person. I was moody, I was grumpy, I was upset. I wasn't the Nadia that everyone knew. But that's fine as well, because that's all a part of your life, all a part of the journey. But when you face these challenges, you just need to believe in yourself again. And you just need to remember who you are and why is it you're doing what you're doing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, sort of purpose.
Yeah,
Definitely. I'd like to go back to motherhood. So obviously that's a relatively new chapter.
Oh, she's 5. I think it's new.
Kind of.
I still use that as an excuse for not losing weight.
She's only a baby.
Yeah, that's what I say.
She's actually 22. Yeah. I'd love to talk about that if you're okay with that. So there's a lot of people in dentistry, there's lots of parents out there, but specifically there's a lot of working mums in dentistry, and much like your job, I can imagine a lot of pressure, lots of very tricky, you know, we love a working mum, lots of things to celebrate there, but we'd be lying if we said there were no challenges.
Oh my gosh.
So, I mean, what's motherhood been like for you, and how have you seen it? Have you had to make adjustments in your career?
Absolutely. Yeah. Of course. I've had to, when Hannah was born, it was during COVID. So
that's hard.
Yeah, it was difficult. It was a difficult time. But at the same time, I think we really enjoyed it as well, because
it's a bit more I think one thing about COVID, sorry to interrupt there, is it did grant a lot of people some quite intimate time that actually 100%. Real life usually strips away, and you don't really get the chance. So not to say it wasn't very difficult for many people, but I think you find beauty in things here and there, don't you? And I'm assuming you kind of could have
and I think for me that was because the bond that Hannah, my daughter's name is Hannah, and my husband's name is Izaz, the bond that Hannah and Izaz have, it's ridiculous. I'm so jealous.
I was about to say you feel left out.
I absolutely hate the fact that she loves her dad so much that, you know, I'm just in the background. I just exist, you know.
Oh, it's lovely.
But yeah, and you know, and I think that happened because of COVID. They spent so much time together for 2 years. You know, he was on the vulnerable list. So, you know, we were very, very strict about everything. Yeah. And like many of us should have been. Should have been.
Should have been the key word. Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, you know, for me, at that time, I had to make a few adjustments because he was working from home. I was, at the time, doing a couple of things, had my own businesses, etc. So I had to take a step back and choose, right, what am I going to not do? And what am I going to do? Because I didn't want to give up my career as a presenter. It's something that I've worked for so hard. And there's no way I'm giving it up as soon as I become a mum. So literally I had to say no to some jobs. But at the same time, I didn't want to give up my dream, because actually that helped me be me and not just Hannah's mummy. And I think that's really important to remember as well. Like, I mean, great for some people because they love just being a mummy, and kudos to you, because it's amazing that you can do that. But I don't think I can do that, because I think I wouldn't be a great mummy if I did that personally, because I still need me time.
Yeah.
As a professional.
I like that you said that. I think motherhood can look so different for different people, and it's really important that it's just respected however it is. I think what is different between them is being a working mum is perhaps the path less trodden historically, which is what brings perhaps some challenges, and it's trying to shake off that sort of what does a mother look like? Oh, it doesn't look like presenting, for example, and having to hurry back and get her so it's I don't have children, so I can't comment in a very familiar way, because I can't completely relate to what you're saying, but I can relate to it as a woman. And when I think of having children, I think, oh my gosh, that's incredibly stressful.
I remember when Hannah was born, and like I said, it was during COVID, and Hannah was probably 3 months, and she was going through teething, and,
all the fun things,
and then you've got the whole postnatal stuff, and then I was just like, me and Izaz were in bed, we were just sitting there, and the cot was next to us, and I still remember like it was yesterday. I picked her up, and I was trying to breastfeed, and again, like even breastfeeding, like so much pressure on a mother, right? So I was trying to do all of that, etc. And then I just sat there and I looked at her for a second, and I said, Izaz. He was like, yeah. I don't know if I'm allowed to swear, but I went, shit. And he went, what happened? And I went, shit, we can't return her. Like, there's literally no return policy, no refunds.
How old is
this
she?
is it. She was like 3 months.
That's so funny that it was 3 months down the line. You're like, oh my gosh,
shit. Like, what am I going to do now? And he just looked at me and he was like, babe, it's fine. And I was like, no, like, seriously, like, this is it. This is for life. Like, you're a mum for life now. You're a dad for life now.
Yeah.
So, I still remember that like it was yesterday. But, I think every mother goes through that, and I think every parent must feel that. Yeah. And it's okay too.
It sounds like you've got a good support system, though.
I do.
Sounds like he's bringing you back down there where you have a bit of a freak out. And I'm sure the same is done whenever he's having a bit of a moment.
Well, he doesn't. He's got it easy. Mummy does everything, so it's fine. He's the best daddy because he gets to just, come on, baby, we'll go buy some toys. We'll watch a movie now.
Yeah, exactly that. What have you had any like really good advice, or have you taken something away from motherhood that you would love other people to understand, or perhaps give them a heads up on it? So there may be people who already have children and trying or struggling to find a balance, or people who might be considering it but are perhaps afraid of the impact that will have on their working life, because as you said, you find it really important to have a career, because that's important to who you are. You are a mother, but you are more than that as well. Like, there's more to you.
Absolutely.
And I think a lot of people can relate to that. How have you managed to maintain that balance, and at times have you ever sort of got it a bit wrong?
I don't think wrong. I think again it comes back to who you are and how important things are to you, right? I remember going back to do a show straight after I gave birth. So I gave birth. I had a horrible pregnancy the last few months. Literally, I was in a wheelchair towards the end of my pregnancy. Gave birth, had a C-section. So literally, I was in hospital for about 14 days, and then in 3 weeks, I returned back to do a live show on radio. 3 weeks, because it was a Sunday. It was just 1 day a week. I thought, okay, I can deal with this. It's not too bad. I did go back, and I remember I finished my show and I came out, and someone had listened to my show, that's in a senior position, came up to me and said, that show, it was too mummified. And I just looked at him and I was like, sorry, what? He was like, that was really mummified. And I said, how? And he was like, you spoke about, being a mum, being a new mum. And I, at that time, I just thought, Nadia, breathe, and at that time you can imagine, like, just, went through a horrible pregnancy, went through a horrible labor, gave birth, had a C-section. And then I had issues after, because I was in hospital for about 14 days trying to recover. And then I've just gone back to work a week of being at home, and someone saying that to you. And I went home, I listened back to my show, and I had mentioned being a new mum at the beginning of the show, because obviously my listeners listened to me. Got to say, hi, I'm back after giving birth.
I was gonna say.
And then I think I mentioned it one more time. during the show.
Oh, that was too much, was it?
And it was. And then I wrote like a long email to the person, and I was like, I feel quite discriminated by this.
Taken on board?
Yeah, it was. I got an apology straight away. But the fact that he had the audacity to even say that, and the fact that I had to then, the next time I went to do my show, I had to limit myself about how many times I talk about being a mum. And I shouldn't have to do that. And actually, Gabby, that's what's changed now, because now I openly talk about it. And I did, like, a few times I was really worried. And then I thought, no, you know what? Screw you. I don't give a shit. No. This is what I love doing.
Yeah.
This is who I am. Yeah. This is my journey. And this is why my followers, my listeners, they love me, because I am who I am. Comes back to being authentic, right? To yourself.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm going to be.
That's amazing that you've got to the point where you're going to do that and not apologise for it.
No,
and
I'm not going to.
People don't like it.
Tough shit.
Yeah, kind of. It's a journey though. I mean, have you had moments in your career where you've struggled to be that, have that sort of focus on being authentic?
I think at the beginning, like I said, like at that point, and I think it's because I was very vulnerable at that time, right? I had just given birth, and there wasn't many presenters that were on the station female, and there wasn't many female DJs or presenters on my radio station that had children, not that I'm aware of. So for me it was like, oh, this is new.
Yeah. And I guess you can, if you're leading the way with something, it comes back again also to the mentorship. It can be quite daunting to be the one who kind of is the a trailblazer. There's a lot of buzzwords that I'm saying, but I guess I don't really know how else to phrase it. You know, the one, I'm going to do this and I am going to talk about being a mother. And honestly, so many people want to hear about that, in all, like, genuinely. Definitely. And if they don't, I think more people can understand what it's like for people and how that can look different. So yeah, totally on board with everything you just said. Not to sort of carry this on too much, but I want to kind of ask you, for those who might be experiencing any type of sort of discrimination in the workplace for whatever reason, and you've already described to us a number of different ways that you have been discriminated against in your personal life and in your career. Would your advice be the same? You've mentioned about being true to yourself. Is there anything else that you would recommend people do?
I think this is the lawyer in me that's coming out.
Yeah, I love that.
Always note everything down.
Okay.
You know, I have my phone and I've got notes.
Okay.
Always write everything down.
Yeah.
You know, even if it's really minute and it's at work or personally, you feel like you're being discriminated, note everything down. Don't think for a second, oh, I'm just imagining it. No, note it down, read it back after, and have a think about it over tea. And don't act in haste. Okay,
I like that.
I think that's really important.
So but all of that made complete sense. Quite simple to do as well. It's not too daunting to do that. Yeah. I think there's going to be a lot of people who will have similar experiences in the dental sphere, and it's really tricky because it can look and feel different for different people, but I think all of that is quite universally good advice.
Yeah. But it's changing, right?
It is. It's you're torn between kind of acknowledging that we've got a lot better, but whilst there is also a lot of progress to be made, I think we need to...
And maybe it's taking longer than we expected.
Yeah, I think so. And we've probably had some setbacks as well.
Definitely.
Don't want to make this too political, but but not even to do with that. You know, it's but dentistry. These are conversations that are being had, and as they should in any industry. And I was really intrigued to hear from what you would. So thank you for that. The lawyer in you,
that came out right.
Yeah, that was
But
fantastic.
Can I just add something else? This is the mother in me now.
Yeah.
So I've done the lawyer in me.
Okay, yeah, good balance.
This is the mother in me now. Education starts at home. You know, your etiquette start at home.
That's true.
So teach your children from a young age. Like Hannah, you know, we talk about all sorts. I talk to her about Islam. She's learning about India now. She's learning about the Chinese New Year. And, you know, we talk about it. We learn about it together. Just because I'm Muslim doesn't mean I shouldn't be talking to my daughter about Christmas.
No.
You know, we have a lovely meal during Christmas together. It's the festive season. Yeah. We enjoy the holiday period together. and we respect our neighbors. You know, we go to our neighbors and we give them some, you know, gifts during Christmas, and during Ramadan, my non-Muslim neighbors, we give them iftari. So you know, when you break your fast, so we'll make some food, some samosas, etc., and give them some food during Ramadan. So I really think it's important that you try and educate your family, your friends around you, you know, in a nice manner. Talk about things, you know.
I think listening is very important, and something that a lot of us are terrible at. Rather than take offence at something as you're being your initial reaction, perhaps process it and have some curiosity around it. It's okay to not know everything.
No, that's it, right?
we don't you know, there's lots of things change, language changes, the way that people are is changing. I think just be curious about it, and don't be afraid to say the wrong thing, because genuinely I find people are extremely forgiving of ignorance if you're willing to learn. And I think that's what we can.
Well, I think I get that, Gabby, because I think now that I wear a hijab, everyone just thinks, she must know everything about Islam. Let's go and ask her about, you know, everything. And I don't, and I wish I did, and I'm learning.
Yeah.
And you know, and I think.
But then that's a lesson in itself. Just because this is how I appear, it does not mean I'm an expert.
No, exactly.
But I can help where I can.
Be honest. Like I'm very honest. Like if you ask me a question that I might not know, like I'm really sorry, I don't know that, but I'll go check it out and I'll let you know.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Thank you.
It's all right. Thank you.
To finish off, I want to ask you quite a profound question.
Go ahead.
Best bit of advice you've ever received? Actually, I say profound. It doesn't have to be. It can be something, anything. Is any advice you've received in your life that has just stuck with you?
So there's a few.
Okay.
Yeah. So my dad always says, kill them with a smile.
I like that.
So, you know, when I said, you know, don't act hastily and just take your time.
Yeah.
So I think that's something I've learned from my dad. To be patient and my grandparents have always taught me, and my mum actually, the three of them, have always taught me to believe in myself and never feel that I can't do something. You can do anything if you put your mind to it.
Thank you so much for coming on today. I've really enjoyed this. I hope you have as well.
Yeah, I did. I think
good.
You know what? We can sit here forever.
I know.
Chat.
I never want these to end. I get very upset. It's one of my favourite parts of my job, to be honest with you, Nadia. Right? Get to meet all kinds of people.
It's really nice to be on this side, Gabby.
Do you prefer it or not really?
Well,
honestly. Was it nice to sort of talk?
Yeah, it was nice to talk.
Yeah.
It was nice to talk and not work. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and not feel and it's about you and it's okay, without I'll take it. I just obviously wanted a compliment there.
No, you were great. You were absolutely great. By the way, can I just say you have beautiful teeth and a beautiful smile.
Thank you. Do you want that? Is so lovely. But I actually did have braces.
Smile in the camera together.
You would have been. I've got different cameras. Yeah, I did have braces, so you'd have been very jealous of me as I was that kid with. I had very terrible teeth, so
I wish you had a paperclip now.
Yeah, do you know what? I would love to see that. I really regret. If you'd given me a heads up, I would have gone and got some in preparation. Nadia, thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers.